जब इंदिरा जी की हत्या हुई थी तो हमारे देश में कुछ दंगे फसाद हुए। हमें मालूम है कि भारत की जनता के दिल में कितना क्रोध आया, कितना गुस्सा आया और कुछ दिन के लिए लोगों को लगा कि भारत हिल रहा है। लेकिन जब भी कोई बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती थोड़ी हिलती है।
Did the Sikh riots take place in Delhi? Absolutely. Were they completely wrong? Absolutely. Some congressmen probably were involved.
अब क्या है 84 का? बात तो करिए, आपने क्या किया 5 साल में, उसकी बात करिए। 84 में हुआ तो हुआ।
Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive and I'm Meghna Deka. Well, after Indira Gandhi was assassinated, 3,000 Sikhs were massacred on the streets of India. What we required was swift justice. But what we got was political leaders being actively shielded. Case after case were botched up at the initial probe stage. And what's worse is what you just heard. There were sound bites coming out of the justification of the riots. The then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi legitimized the riots, as you just heard him say, जब बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती हिलती है. Years later, in 2019, Congress's Sam Pitroda justified the riots with his "hua to hua" comment. You heard that as well. And 41 years after the riots, a Delhi court today has convicted former Congress MP Sajjan Kumar in a case pertaining to the anti-Sikh riots. This is the second case out of 4 where the former Congress MP has been convicted for his alleged role in the riots. We are, in fact, tracking the story very closely on a day when the court has found him guilty. The former Congress MP has been convicted for his alleged role in the riots. We are now learning that the quantum of punishment for Sajjan Kumar is going to be pronounced on the 18th of February. Now, viewers, remember, this particular case is over the killing of a father-son duo. Their names were Jaswant Singh and Tarundeep Singh. The duo were killed in Saraswati Vihar on the 1st of November 1984. With the wheels of justice finally moving, the family members of the victim are now demanding justice.
मेरे परिवार के 1984 को 1, 2, 3 नवंबर को 7 आदमियों को मेरे आंखों के सामने जिंदा जलाया गया था। ये पिछले 40 साल से हम केसों की पैरवी कर रहे हैं। हमने ये लड़ाई, आप समझोगे कि 1984 के बाद शुरू हो गई थी। लड़ाई लड़ते कोर्टों के चक्कर लगाते हमारे जूते घिस गए। आज हमें सज्जन कुमार को दोषी करार किया है कोर्ट ने और फरवरी में जल्दी ही 18 फरवरी को उनको सजा होगी। हमारी ये मांग है, दंगा पीड़ित परिवारों की पूरी मांग है और 84 से मांग करते आए हैं कि सज्जन कुमार को फांसी की सजा होनी चाहिए।
जज साहब का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहते हैं। साथ में हम मोदी जी का और अमित शाह जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहते हैं। और हमारे को अमित शाह जी ने और एलडी साहब ने भी हमारे को विश्वास दिलाया था कि आपको सीनियर से सीनियर एडवोकेट सरकार की तरफ से भी खड़ा होगा और हम दिल्ली गुरुद्वारा कमेटी की तरफ से भी सीनियर एडवोकेट खड़ा था जो अच्छे ढंग से फाइट कर रहे हैं। और आज आप सभी के सामने हैं, उसमें लड़ाई जो लड़ी गई है उसमें सज्जन कुमार को दोषी करार दिया गया। और हम चाहते हैं और हमारी इच्छा भी है, सभी पीड़ित परिवार तभी खुश होंगे जब उम्र कैद की बजाय इनको फांसी की सजा होगी सज्जन कुमार को।
Well, very shortly we are going to be joined by H.H. Fulka. He is, of course, the legal, the man who's fought a 40-year-old battle to ensure justice in some of the cases. He has been fighting these cases pro bono, insisting with government after government that these cases must be reopened. He finally played a big role in ensuring that several of these cases were reopened, re-looked at, and now has been managing to get convictions. Of course, Sajjan Kumar has already been convicted in 2018 in another case of murder during the Sikh pogrom, and this conviction is his second conviction. We'll be speaking to H.S. Fulka and his long legal battle. But before that, we ask you a simple question. Can the Gandhis be absolved of the stain of 1984? The then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, remember, was the Prime Minister. He was the one who was at the helm of affairs when a pogrom happened of 3,000 Sikhs. Can the Congress be forgiven for that, is the question. Then, remember, you had this statement coming in: when a big tree falls, the earth shakes. The justification which came in from Rajiv Gandhi, you heard that soundbite of Rajiv Gandhi at the beginning of the show. Rajiv also took 3 years to count the number of people who were officially killed. Till date, those figures of official deaths have been disputed. Eyewitnesses say that it was much, much more than the official death figures. Also, Sajjan Kumar still is being probed by the SIT, but he is, remember, a 3-time Congress MP. He was sent to the parliament to be the voice of the people thrice by the Congress party, a man who today has been convicted not once but twice. Well, in fact, we are going to go across to our panelists now. Today we are joined by Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. Rohan Mitra is also joining us, Ramneek Man, a political analyst, and very shortly we are going to be going across to Mr. H.S. Fulka as well. But first I'm going to come to you across, Rohan Mitra. Do you think that the Congress can absolve themselves after leader, Sajjan Kumar in his case, twice he has been convicted? Can the Congress absolve itself of the stain? Hua to hua, is that good enough?
Meghna, when you call me to your show, right, let's get this straight. I am a congressman, but I'm not here to defend what is wrong. Okay. You definitely showed what Mr. Rajiv Gandhi said in your show to begin with about the big tree falls, and there has been an apology made. And also the fact is Mr. Rajiv Gandhi is no longer alive anymore. He was murdered. All right. Secondly, you showed a clip of Mr. Rahul Gandhi where he acknowledged where the fault of the Congress party was acknowledged, the fault of the Congress leader was acknowledged. You know, you guys want to make this, you know, when the matters come about the BJP, about raking up the past, it's all and fine. But, you know, when the Congress party has apologized, Congress party has
BJP
said...
your best defense?
I'm not here
I mean, honestly, is BJP going to be the best defense? This is what BJP does. So we send a man who had pain, who had blood on his hands, thrice to the parliament.
That is the easier option for me. You're changing my, you're changing the tone of my conversation. I started the conversation by saying that I'm not here to defend somebody who's not here, who's been, sentenced to prison or whatever. He's a criminal, right? In court. So I'm not here to defend him because that's the court's job. If his lawyers couldn't save him, who am I to save him here? And if he's responsible, he must bear the punishment. My question to you is, when the apology has been made, you want to rake it up and make it that everyone today who's in the Congress is at fault for what happened in 1984. That is not right. Okay. That is a propaganda.
Charu,
that is your part of your narrative.
That's propaganda. Yes, it happened in the court, yes. But this is propaganda. Charu, it's happened so long back. It's been 41 years. Why even bother with all of this? Why keep breaking it up now?
Meghna, let me begin by thanking the Honorable Court today because even though it has taken 40 years, justice is going to be served to the perpetrators of the 84 riots, not riots, genocide. Let me also thank our government because they thought to open these files again. Decades after, more than 8,000 Sikhs were butchered only for being Sikhs. Decades after, while Congress continued to reward those with plum political positions, those who were the orchestrators of this genocide. You make them an MP, you make them campaign leaders, you make them kings in their castles, not once acknowledging that our country burned at their behest. I cannot use strong words which are strong enough in a situation like this. But here I also want to point out one thing. Here today, Rahul Gandhi wants to walk around like some kind of a messiah of the minority in India.
But Charu, Rahul Gandhi says that it is under your regime. It is under BJP's regime that Sikhs feel fearful. That Sikhs today are fearing going to Gurdwara. But they are accusing you of that.
I wanted to remind everyone of Rahul Gandhi's recent most statement on foreign soil in America when he says that the situation in India is so bad that Sikhs are afraid to wear turbans, forgetting that on the behest of his father, all these leaders which have been crowned and rewarded by the Congress government consecutively year after year were the ones who just justified it by saying, "Jab ek bada ped girta hai." That is the situation where Congress stood, and today Rahul Gandhi wants to make all these big dialogues. I believe that this is justice a little bit late, but much appreciated, and this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Everybody needs to come under the purview of law. Every single person who held a firearm in their hands or facilitated firearms in the hands of those rioters and genociders, they need to be brought to task today. It doesn't matter if it's 40 years too late. It needs to be done now.
But Ramneek Mark, would we be right in saying that the government, a current dispensation, is responsible for the verdict which is coming out? Because the BJP had said, look, if it had been the Congress, they had filed closure reports. Only because the government's change was justice, late perhaps, delayed for sure, but was at least delivered in some cases. Ramneek. I'll just come to you.
So, okay, what I'm going to say next is going to be very... Okay, so what I'm going to say next is going to be very strong. Well, I believe the government of the day in 1984 was complicit. The Prime Minister then, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, was complicit. And circumstantial evidences all point towards in that direction. Well, the conviction of Sajjan Kumar is just one evidence that the Congress party and the Congress government then had actually orchestrated this state-sponsored pogrom of Sikhs in Delhi. And then to cover their, tracks up and to cover up their murderous events, they did not let the FIRs to be filed. They did not have investigations. Can you believe that in the entire human history, there is nothing equivalent to the Tilaknagar Vidwa colony. There is no widow colony anywhere in the world. There have been wars, there have been genocides, but this black spot, this black blot on our country has been given to us by the Congress party. So now when you ask me a straight question, well, does the government have a role to play? Yes, of course. I would like to thank the Honorable Home Minister, I would like to thank Honorable Prime Minister for reopening these cases, for establishing these SITs so that justice could finally be served after 40 years. But a huge thank you is also due towards Mr. Fulka. Mr. Fulka has been a champion of this case. He has been working very hard. So this is how, I would now, when you bring up things like hua to hua, and when you bring up things like Rahul Gandhi's admission candidly on television that yes, there were congressmen involved, we can see, but then again, Jagdish Tytler is scot-free, and this...
that SIT probe is still on against Jagdish Tytler.
Kamal Nath. No, Kamal Nath.
There is no probe against
Kamal Nath a chief minister. There were all these people who were made ministers. They have been rewarding the murderers and killers of Sikhs. This is what the Congress party's true character is. And when Rahul Gandhi goes to the US and says, the question is whether a Sikh can wear a turban and a kada or not. I am wearing a kada, I am wearing a turban. But then your party, your father, your leadership,
do you fear for your life today?
Are responsible. Hear me out. Hear me out. Let me say this. This is very important. I have to say this. Your party, your father, your family, your leadership are responsible for hundreds and thousands of Sikhs to actually become bepat, to get their hairs cut, to save their lives, to survive in a democratic country. This is on you. You don't talk about us being able to wear turbans or not. We live in a free country.
Absolutely.
But we were not so free then.
They were not so free then. And who else? Who could be better to explain how it goes than Mr. Fulka himself? Mr. A.J. Fulka, he's been fighting this war for 41 years, pro bono, case after case. He has fought a very hard, long legal battle. He's joining us today. It's not an easy time for you. You've had a very long war. It's been 41 years to even bring this man to justice. But congratulations. But today, on a day like this, how do the family members really feel of Tarundeep, of Jaswant Singh? How do they really feel? For them, is it a matter of vindication or is it merely a matter of closure?
You see, no doubt that ultimately after a long fight, the result has come, they have succeeded. But the point is that it is coming after 40 years of long fight. The ordeal which this old lady has gone throughout this time. When she was under so much of pressure, she was so scared, the court has to give her total protection under the Victim Protection Program. And her identity was also not disclosed because their family is under so much of pressure. But at the same time, you see, I believe that those people who indulge in such serious crimes, they should not go scot-free just because there is a lapse of time. A message need to go particularly to those people who are in power, that if in power you commit some heinous crimes, you may be in power for some time, but ultimately the day will come when law will catch up with you. And you will have to suffer for this, you will have to go to jail. If you commit your crime in your younger days, like the Sajjan Kumar was 36, 37 that time, and he went to jail when he was 71. Now it's been 6 years that he's been jailed. And now in the second case also he's going to jail. So this message need to go. It was necessary in our country, though in every democracy, that law is above all and nobody is above law. So that is,
Absolutely.
I'm glad that though after 40 years, but...
at least after 40 years, I agree with you. At least after 40 years, this man is going to be punished. Too late, but at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Mr. Fulka, you fought a very long battle against this man, Sajjan Kumar. He was produced in the court today. He was brought in from Tihar jail. Of course, he is in jail already after a conviction that he faced in 2018. Today, he was brought into the courtroom. Did you turn around? Did you look at him? Did you look him in the eye? Do you see any glimpse of remorse for what he has done?
You see, that is the media which observe and watch him. I didn't even look at him. I just had a glance. But otherwise, I had my back towards him. This is the media which would have observed him what was his body language. Obviously, what his body language will be towards me, as far as I could expect it, because he is in jail, he's been facing it. But obviously, his body language will be like that. But I didn't look much. He was
didn't look him in the eye.
On the backside, and I just glanced. That's it.
You didn't look him in the eye, but you ensured that there is justice for those who were massacred on the screens of Delhi, even after 41 years. So, Mr. Fulka, thank you so much for fighting a very long battle, but hopefully the cases that you've managed to reopen are also going to ensure that justice prevails even after all these years. Thank you so much, Mr. Fulka, for joining us here on the show. Of course, Charu Pragya, Rohan Mitra, as well as Ramneek Maan for joining us. Without a short break, don't go anywhere.